I'm Chloe Cox, and I am a Superstar Director for Scentsy, which is a direct sales company.
And I'm Justin Cox, and I'm also a Superstar Director with Scentsy with Chloe, which we're co-owners. We created a corporation out of Scentsy for that called Anchored Scents LLC. I'm also the co-founder, owner of Smash Waffles, and I'm also the co-owner and founder of Catch Creative LLC, plus a couple little pop-ups here in town. Nog, that just finished up. It was an eggnog, alcoholic eggnog pop-up we did to raise awareness for the Children's Miracle Network. And Spike Hard Snow Cones, which was something that we did to raise awareness for the Junior League here in Greenville.
So Scentsy, that changed everything for us. So I started Scentsy in 2012. I had just gotten married. I went to ECU, the best nursing school ever, and I was working at the hospital as a nurse. And my husband bought my kit because he just said that we needed another income. I had no idea about direct sales. I was not a fan, I'm gonna be honest. And I just started, honestly. I just got my kit and I started like serving people, and I love the product, and it kind of evolved into what it was. And as of recently, 2 years ago in October, I have been retired as a nurse. So I was able to build up to the point to where my husband's gonna talk about what he was able to do, but I was able to build an amazing group. We have over 5,000 people stretched across the US. And I was able to just kind of walk away as a nurse, which was hard, but I knew that I had to make that choice so I could go all in, and so my husband could go all in. We have 2 kids, and so I knew that I had to make a choice and decide what I was gonna do, but really it's that simple. I took a chance and worked really hard, and you know, we're here today, both entrepreneurs figuring this thing out. You know, I never went to school for, you know, marketing or networking or public relations or any of that. I have to give a lot of that credit just to my dad for my work ethic, because I learned a lot from him, and I've learned a lot from my husband. But that's pretty much what has happened on my end. I do it full time. I do a lot of mentoring. I do a lot of leadership trainings. I'm thinking about starting a podcast also this year, which I haven't even talked to my husband about, for just women and entrepreneurs and stuff like that. But you know, that's what we do, and we love the community here in Greenville. We love other business owners. We've become really close with a lot of business owners. So the community here in Greenville too has really made it to where we believed, I guess, that we could do it because we had the support. So that's pretty much my story.
There's a lot of details into that. So I'll back up and talk about what she said when she first started at Scentsy and when she got her kid. So I was in banking prior to doing this. I was a college dropout, trying to figure it out, didn't really know what I wanted to do. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My dad and my mom own a very successful plumbing business back in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And he didn't even finish middle school. So, you know, I come from a family where education was not a top priority, even though they wanted us to have a good education. My father always instilled in me and my mother that you work for what you want, it's never given to you, and don't ever go through life thinking people are gonna give it to you. So I went to college. It was not for me. I had more fun not attending class than actually attending class, so that was my fault there. But I started off, my aunt actually got me a job as a teller at a bank in Fayetteville, North Carolina, where we're from, and I just kind of hustled my way up. I loved interacting with people. I found out that I was pretty good at interacting with people and making people feel comfortable around me, and I just kind of went with that. I started asking everybody in a position that I wanted in the bank how they got there and what do I need to do to be in your seat. It was a question that I asked a lot of my mentors, and I just listened to them. And I think that is a huge, huge piece of advice that I got pretty early on, is that if you see somebody in a position that you want, don't be afraid to ask them. The worst thing they're gonna say is no. Just ask them what they did to get there and actually listen to them. And take their advice, not just to try to talk to them to let them know your name, but talk to them to let them know that you want what they have. So it got me to the point where I was a 23-year-old bank manager at Wells Fargo when the Wachovia Wells Fargo transition happened, and I was managing like 25 people who were twice my age, but I loved it and enjoyed it. It got to the point though where I attended a seminar in banking about building wealth, and I realized that my wife and I were capped because the way you build wealth is inherited. or you create something, or you win the lottery, and an inheritance ain't coming for us. We don't come from money, so we're not getting an inheritance, and the odds of winning the lottery are not really in our favor, so we had to create something. And the guy in the seminar, when he was talking, he said, if you have time to join something or have something that has no income cap, then just sign up and try it. The worst thing you can do is suck at it, but at least you can get your money back. And it only costs me $100 to buy Chloe's Scentsy kit. So I remember sitting in the seminar, and then we're big on our faith, I prayed about it. And literally the next day we go to a convention here in town, and there was a Scentsy booth. And I was like, okay, that's what it is. That's the sign that I needed to see. And so I go online literally the next day and buy the kit, and it shows up, and I tell Chloe, this is for you for the days you're off, because she was only working 3 days out of a nurse. Let's run with it. And then I kind of left it alone. Plus, she wanted a new car. I said, well, if you wanted a new car, the way our bank account works is we don't have enough to pay for that new car right now, so you're going to need to make some extra money with Scentsy to do that. And it did. And if you've never seen the product, it's great. It's home fragrance, laundry line, counter cleans, everything. It sells itself pretty much. You don't even need to sell it. You just need to get it in people's hands and they'll buy it. Well, that took off. So we're 2 years in, and I really wasn't helping out at first that much. She was kind of just getting started, figuring it out on her own. It got to a point in the banking industry, it was 2016, where I went to Chloe and said, I'm lost and I don't know if this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I had gotten promoted to an assistant vice president here in Greenville. I was a commercial banker, very successful. I was what success looked like in the banking industry, but I wasn't creating wealth. Chloe, her business was getting to the point now where it could pay our bills if we both left our jobs. So that's when I told her that I'm gonna start trying to figure out what my passion is. And I found out that I really enjoyed cooking. I love to cook. I made people happy, and people told me I was good at it. Now, I was also scared because the people that told me I was good at it were also my close friends, families, and relatives, but thank God I married the most black and white woman in the world that would tell me if my cooking is not good or if it's not. So, my best friend here in town, who's like my brother, I don't even call him my best friend anymore, we're pretty much inseparable. People get us confused all the time because we're always around each other. His name's Hunter Harrison. Him and I would get together, all the time for lunch to, just to throw business ideas out there. And one day we were in a Starbucks. It was like literally Black Friday. I think we went to Starbucks back in 2016. And we were talking about, and it's funny because I'm seeing the idea now out, and it kind of makes me mad that we didn't go with it. But we had an idea to create a finance app that actually rewards kids for doing chores. And instead of getting a checkbook, they get a debit card, and every time they do a chore, money automatically goes on this card, and it teaches them money management. And it's so funny because in the past 6 months now, there's a company called Greenlight that's actually doing that same idea. And Hunter actually, I think being spiteful, bought some for his kids saying, yeah, we could have easily done this. It probably would have been a lot easier than waffles too, but we landed on waffles. And so we were talking that night and landed on waffles. We were talking about, we saw a shift in the restaurant industry where food was getting delivered. And we saw that the delivery is the future of food. So we said, oh, well, nobody's delivering breakfast food. Well, because it's soggy. Well, I bet I can make a waffle not get soggy when you deliver it. And we did. We came up with Smash Waffles, and it was born and officially launched on my birthday, December 4th, 2016, and the rest is history. Blew up, got real popular, real good, to the point where we attracted some investors. And and it became what it is, and it's here now. There is some bad parts to that story we don't really need to get into, but from an entrepreneurship standpoint, just believe in your craft and know what you have is what I can say about Smash Waffles, because we did end up selling the company to somebody else, and it didn't go that great, but now we're back involved and getting back involved with the owners, and the owner's great out of Pittsburgh. He's a great guy, love him to death. He actually has changed our lives. He's got a lot of knowledge, and we're working together to try to make this a national brand again. So that's very exciting that Hunter and I and the owner now are working together to make this a national brand. Alongside of that, people were, Hunter comes from a background of marketing and advertising. So in 2018, people were talking about how great it was. We created Catch Creative, and we still haven't even officially launched that business. But we do anything from branding, design, to logos, to websites, anything you could think of that makes a business appeal, attractive. We even do consulting for businesses from a standpoint of we don't want to just be a marketing company that makes something look good. We want to make something that's going to drive people to your business to create memorable moments that they can share with their family. Word of mouth is still the biggest form a business can get to drive traffic. So we want to create that for businesses. So we created Catch Creative, and then out of Catch Creative, we launched 2 other brands. One with Lucas and his wife Brittany Owens, which was Nog, and then we launched our own called Spike, which was the 2 little charitable giving back pop-ups we did this past year. Now, back to going to Scentsy. My role in Scentsy is pretty much, I am a real good system builder, meaning I know how to build systems to make it more efficient and to make it to where you're doing things that are actually income producing and not wasting your time. So Chloe actually 2 to 3 years in, she was real successful, but was wanting to stop. Did not want to do Scentsy. And then I started thinking, Chloe has never had training on how to coach people, had never had training on how to lead people or how to run, a business. So I literally just sat back and watched her for a week work. Then I went back to her and told her what her problems were. She didn't really want to hear them that well because she was being successful, but I was like, I could take that though and what you're focused on and being successful about and actually help you focus on those income things. So that's where I stepped in. I started pulling reports on the people she needed to focus on, and I started showing her where she sells her products whenever she does, whether it's a bag party, meaning giving it to somebody. She actually makes more money and gets more clients that way than her actually going and doing a home party, because it's taking more of her time away from focusing on customers that she could have been focusing on during that time. It was just little things like that. So I am the back end efficiency helper, and if she starts getting off balance, I come in and try my best to navigate that. And it's ever evolving. Everything's always changing in this business. When you go last year at this time, we only had 2,000 people. So when you jump 3,000 people in 1 year, it gets to a point where that efficiency, you have to get even more narrow with who you focus on because you have so many people every day reaching out to you. She knows it, but not as much. But I have people reaching out to me on a daily basis in regards to Scentsy. And I don't even tell her about it. I just help them out because I don't want her to have to worry about it. Because what Chloe's good at doing is something that I'm okay at doing, but she's better at doing, especially in the space, which is building up leaders in women and men who have never believed that they could do something in themselves, and she finds that in them and brings it out of them. And plus, her customer service is, I've never seen anybody work so hard to make their customers as happy as she does.
Yeah, and as far as Scentsy and direct sales goes, I understand that there's this weird stigma, and people truly don't understand what it can do. It's all about joining a company where you're passionate about the product, you enjoy it, okay, so whatever that may be, and then understanding how you get paid and knowing it's a legitimate compensation plan too. He really searched through all the compensation plans of different companies to make sure this was the right fit.
It made the most sense, no pun intended.
And when he started Smash, so the way that we kind of intertwine our businesses, so he does have we have an office at home with 2 separate desks. I have a whiteboard to write down.
I'm a man, you gotta tell me what I need to do.
I have a whiteboard to write down what he needs to do every day. And then we just communicate. Communication is honestly key. That's when we've gotten into most arguments about our business. Our businesses is when we have not communicated, because when you own multiple businesses, you have 2 people that are going 100 in 2 different directions, and so it's really important for us to communicate about our businesses. And I don't run Smash, okay? I don't come in and cook all the things, but I watch the employees, I watch, I look at the flavor profiles of, the food, and I give him feedback, and I'm always looking at how can we do better. I always tell him if we could make it like Chick-fil-A, then we would be, rocking it out, because that's who we kind of aspire to be in the sense of customer service. So communication, like I said, we have 2 kids, so we really try to cut off our business when we're at home. That is the hardest part next to communication, because our kids want our time, and we live in a world of technology, Instagram, Facebook, stories, and our kids are wanting to get on YouTube and do all these things. So we're not great at this, but something we're trying to get better at is really cutting it off. nobody's gonna die until the next day if we don't finish what we have to do. But really cutting it off so we can be intentional with our time, our family, and then so we can get up and go to work the next day. And be intentional with our employees and the people that we mentor and work with.
Yeah, and on the flip side of that too, I think it's awesome because I see Brody, my son, look at me the way I used to look at my dad when he would go to work. I think still, I speak at the School of Entrepreneurship at ECU sometimes, and I tell kids, it doesn't matter what you do, if you're a barber, if you run any type of company, if you're consistent at doing the things that is actually income producing in that job, you're gonna be successful at it. There's no way you wouldn't be successful, and if you're not, then you need to reevaluate the way you're working because you're probably not working smart. And so, and I instill that to everybody that I come in contact with, that I'm a boss with. And it's funny, I was telling some of my employees this morning, the two things that makes me mad, the most upset with employees or anybody that I talk to is somebody that thinks they know everything and then somebody's not willing to take a chance. And so with my employees, it actually makes me mad when they call and ask me how to do something. I'm like, no, just do it. And if you don't do it right, it's a learning experience for all of us. And guess what? If you do something and it works better, it's gonna be better for us.
But then I'm the kind of person who's like, we need instructions, we need to teach them, so it's a balance because I can come in and be like, look, no, we need policies for how to close the store.
Yeah.
We need it written down and we need it up for these women. Women function different than men, so.
We're yin and yang, and that's what we were.
Yeah, he's very creative, I'm very type A, structured, so it balances itself out. But then yes, he does all the business stuff and the systems, and it's crazy. People think that in order to be successful, you have to just make it, or you have to get lucky, or you have to come from a rich family, or you have to know all these people. Get on YouTube, go on Google. We are self-made. Everything I've learned is on YouTube, or I Googled it, or I collaborated with people that I knew were dreamers, and that's who we gravitate towards.
Yeah, you try to surround yourself around people that are not drains, and I say that to Chloe all the time. Don't become a faucet to everybody. You need to get your cup filled too. And so make sure the relationships that you develop, especially close relationships that you develop, when you're an entrepreneur, when you're becoming successful, when you want to aspire to be successful, you're around people that are filling you up. That way you're able to fill people up and not get drained, because once you start getting comfortable where you're at, that's when you stop growing. And I never want to be in that spot where I feel like I'm not growing anymore. I always want to be in a position where it feels like I'm still benefiting everybody around me.
So I just want to say, go for it. Whether it's you want to be your own business owner, or you want to create a product, or you want to do something out of the norm, do it. I'll never forget in high school, I had a teacher tell me that I would never make it, that I would never graduate nursing school, that I would never be a good nurse, all of these things. And that's actually what drove me to not only be a good nurse, but to go to one of the best schools in the country at ECU and to do this thing and to be an awesome nurse. And then even with Scentsy, I had many people, I'm sure many of you are watching this, and you may mock direct sales. So I want you to imagine the people that were on my back saying stuff to me every day, you're gonna fail. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to buy that. Nobody wants to join your team. But instead of listening to them, I just put my head down and I got to work. And if it weren't for me ignoring the outside noise and really focusing on, this is what's gonna change my life, my family's life, our parents' life, this is what we have to do, that is what changed it for me. You have to just ignore the outside noise, ignore the people that are not gonna dream, and because they're scared and afraid, and you have to just go for it.
My advice is, and it's something that I struggle with, is you can't please everybody. Everybody's not gonna love your product. You always wanna strive to be perfect. Perfection, you cannot be perfect, so don't be upset. It always needs to be your target to try to shoot to be perfect, but know that you are gonna make mistakes. You are gonna fail, and it's okay. That's good because you learn from them. Just don't make the same mistake again or the same failure again. And I'll echo my wife, go for it. I mean, you're not gonna be able to do anything that you aspire or that you see or that you wanna be if you don't go for an idea or a dream that you have. Don't be scared, and making sure that you have the right circle of people around you that are rooting for you and that are not, telling you no or that are trying to hold you back. You wanna have the people that are there. I always say it to our team, iron sharpens iron, so you gotta make sure you have like-minded people around you that have different traits that can help you go at this dream that you have, that can help you be a better person. And, that's the biggest thing that I can say.
And I'll close it out with this. When I left my job as a nurse, 2 years ago, my manager looked at me and she said, how are you gonna survive? Like, what are you gonna do? You actually think that you selling wax, because that's one of the products I sell. She was like, you think selling like wax and stuff is gonna pay your bills? Like, how are you gonna survive? And I looked at her, they didn't throw me like a going away party, they didn't say bye to me, nothing. I just looked at her and I said, you don't need to worry about me, this is for my family. So seriously, like, do the work it takes to live the life that 99% of the world wants, but only 1% of the world has. You have to be the 1%, and that's what's gonna have you make it, so thank you.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching us, and please subscribe to People of Greenville on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Thanks.